Good morning, guys. Hope you're doing well. Today I want to talk about the topic how to manage being the only minority in a friend group. The other day I was speaking to a college sophomore and he asked me, in one of my friend groups, I'm the only minority. Do you have any advice on just not letting this fact make me feel too self conscious? So, my first piece of advice is I would say just be yourself. I think a lot of people in this situation might naturally try to conform and fit into the thinking of the group slash the other friends. I think psychologists call this confirmation bias. But for the most part, you can't allow that. You have to be yourself. Don't shy away from talking about your experiences or expressing your viewpoints slash opinions. It's important for your friends to hear those viewpoints, and it's also important for you to be able to feel like you can always be your authentic self and share who you are. The second thing I would say is discussing social issues can be tough. I would say don't feel like you need to represent all the people of color or your race. I think sometimes as a minority in a friend group made up of Caucasians, when social issues are being discussed, you may be looked at to provide commentary, in terms of speaking for the whole race. Understand that's not possible. Races are not monolithic in terms of the way they think. And so I think it's fair to speak on your thoughts and your viewpoints based on your experiences. I think that can be helpful to all parties, especially to your friends that may never have experienced things that you have. But that's kind of where I would, draw the line. Like, if you are passionate about social issues, you can speak about, research you've done. However, on the flip side of that, I don't think you should force yourself to educate yourself on social issues simply because you feel pressured to represent your race. I think that should be more of a natural process. And one other thing I'll say is just be careful in these debates because, if you're going one on everyone else in your group, that can feel very isolating. And it may affect your relationship with the other friends because you may be disheartened as to why they're not understanding your viewpoint. And I think that goes to my third point, which is have empathy for people's backgrounds. This is obviously tough, but you may be asked to explain a term or a wordage. I remember being asked my freshman year in college, why do Indian girls wear that dot on their head? And at first I kind of got angry because I was like, how does this person not know? It's called a bindi. But then, as I took a step back, that day and reflected, I realized, okay, this person has never interacted with a brown or Indian friend growing up, so they have no context. And that's obviously tough for minorities, but reality is what reality is, and we have to show empathy in situations that people don't control. The person asking me that question didn't control where their parents had them grow up or, the environment that they grew up on. They just grew up there. Finally, I'll say, race obviously shapes a lot, but certain things, hopefully you don't need to think about it. When you're debating sports or playing sports, for example, hopefully you can just be yourself. People are people at the end of the day. And so hopefully there can be stuff where you don't need to think about the fact that you're the only minority in your group of friends. Like I said, maybe it's some of the simpler things in life, like playing games or playing board games or whatever. Um, but make sure to turn that off whenever you can do it, uh, because always having that on can also make you go crazy and always be questioning people's intentions and the way they're saying stuff, which I don't think on a 24/7 basis is necessarily the most healthy thing. Um, and just unrelated to all these 4 points, to anyone listening, I would really encourage you to have diverse friend groups. They teach you about different viewpoints, different ways of life, and what to be mindful of, and it just helps you understand the world more. So hopefully, if you can, I mean, obviously, this is not the way you should look at life, but if you can, you should have more than one black friend, one brown friend, one white friend, one gay friend, one, whatever it is, like the minority group. Um, if you can, look to diversify if you only feel like you only have one or zero of certain categories, just because it'll help you understand the world. Um, you know, hope these four help. If you have any thoughts or comments, let me know. Thanks, guys.